Some of the things that you found online, I'll just trot through three, and I'll give a bit of a health warning to people in case any of them that they are offensive and they're attacking in nature. But just a health warning to those of you listening, on at least one of them anyway. Self-loathing race traitor was something that she was described as trailer trash, and Meghan, the Queen of Island, M being an animal that I'm not going to say the sentence, but I think people can work out what animal that is in the context. And we've seen that kind of language related to that animal used in football, in racism in football and elsewhere. Loads of others that you found as well. How did the stuff directed at Meghan Markle compare to other racist examples that you found online?
No. Well, I mean, I'll explain what we did. I'm involved in a project which is a combination of some journalism lecturers and computing specialists, and we're interested in tracking the levels of hate speech and abuse on social media. So we thought this was an interesting case to look at. What we've captured is a snapshot, a sample. So basically, we looked at a period of around a day just after the initial announcement from Meghan and Harry. We captured tens of thousands of tweets which mentioned Meghan, overwhelmingly negative in sentiment, I think it's fair to say. But the stuff that we were most interested in were the most abusive tweets. So we captured, in that 24-hour period, we captured around 400 tweets which were abusive about Meghan and which contained what you would regard as some of the worst racist and misogynistic terms, and the ones you've kind of read out there are at the kind of lighter end of the spectrum, it's fair to say.
So plenty of it was just unreadable from my perspective.
It was, yeah, and even for people like myself who kind of deal with this stuff on a regular basis, it's still, when you read through it and you actually read the content, it is still shocking to read. And I know some of my computing colleagues who aren't used to kind of dealing with this kind of stuff get really upset when they actually read the kind of stuff that we're capturing. So I think sometimes you become desensitized to it when you see it a lot. But I was still shocked.
Now, the internet and Twitter and online attacks are, I mean, sometimes newspapers put things out and they end up on the internet as well. So that can feed it. It can feed the whole thing, can't it? The whole sort of system, the whole ecosystem of racism.
Yeah, it's all connected, I think. Yeah.
But most people with even... Actually, you don't even need a public role for this to happen to you on Twitter and elsewhere. There's something about it that's just full of bile and full of venom and hatred and jealousy and enmity and all of those things. Is it any different for her because of the scale of her position in British life?
Well, that's a good question, and I wouldn't have clear evidence. I mean, my sense is that if you're a high-profile person, probably the higher profile you are, the worse it is. It's bad. So, we have lots of examples of female politicians who deal with this stuff on a daily basis. I'm sure.
I get it. I get it. I'm not on the same scale. I don't imagine for a second, but I just don't engage with it. So I know that on a daily basis, when I do my job, there are people at home tweeting. I've muted them, most of them, but they tweet and I set up my screen in front of me so that they're not there, so I don't see what's being said, because it's vicious, absolutely vicious, and it's endless. It's not just directed at me, but it is directed at me. Now, is there an argument that actually there are these weirdos all over the country, some of them are racist, put it to one side, leave it? Or is it fair enough to say, I can't stomach this, I cannot live like this?
I think that has to be a personal choice. I think some people obviously can deal with it better than others. Personally, I'd much rather live in a society where nobody had to deal with that. I think the reality is that if you want to be on social media and you are a person of profile, you will get a lot of this. And the sad fact is that you'll get a lot more of it if you're a woman. There's research that's shown that I think female politicians are 3 times more likely to get abuse than their male counterparts, for example. And obviously, in the case of Meghan, a lot of the abuse we found was what you might call misogynistic, but there's the added kind of issue of the kind of racist content as well.